Thank y'all for being here. I'm going to call the special call meeting of Richmond County Board of Elections to order. The purpose of this meeting is to do the preparation for the county certification pursuant to State Election Board Rule 183-1-12-12F. And with that, I will turn this over to Director Doss to take us through.
Okay. So in your packet, you will see a copy of the State Election Board rule that states that we would need to do a pre-certification meeting prior to certification. You have in your, well, the first, excuse me a second. In your packet, you will see, actually, if you'll look at number 2, it says that we are to compare the list of how people voted, whether it was election day in person or it says, after all absentee ballots received by the close of the polls, including those cast by advance voting, and all ballots cast in person on election day, and all provisional ballots have been tabulated, the total number of ballots cast by each vote method shall be reported for each precinct. So you have a spreadsheet there in front of you, and Katina, could you get Jennifer for me, please?
Yes.
You have a spreadsheet there in front of you that has a listing of each one of the precincts. It shows you the it shows you the total number of votes from the SOVC report, which is the statement of votes cast report, and then by comparison the election day numbers that were accepted for election day, AIP, which stands for absentee in person, and then ABM, which is absentee by mail. So if you would like to look over that report and make a comparison to see that what is on the, what we counted election night versus what was as far as accepted, as far as the people voted and whatnot, through those different vote methods.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the report in the spreadsheet.
Second.
The motion is second to accept the report and spreadsheet. Is there any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against nay. That motion carries.
All right, the next thing that we are tasked to do is it says a list of all voters who voted in the election shall be compiled, including by category, the number of votes, people who voted election day, in person, advance voting and absentee and provisional. The list shall be examined for duplicates. The list shall then be sorted by precinct, and the total number of unique voter IDs for each precinct shall be counted. The total number of unique voters who voted by each vote method shall be reported for each precinct. So for election day, So for election day, this is the list of voters. This is the unique ID here. And so we will maybe see if this works. We can scroll. Yes, so we can scroll through this list. Oh, I guess I need to turn on conditional formatting, highlight in red, duplicate values. And it will turn in red if we have any duplicate values. And so we will scroll through the list, looking for anything in red. All right, nothing in red, and you'll note here where it says 1238 is the total number of people. And if you'll note on election day, we had 1,237. So the one is, of course, the
Title bar.
title bar. Thank you very much. I also did a pivot table just to show here with all of the unique identifiers and how many numbers had that unique identifier. And if you can see as we scroll down through that, you will see there's only one unique identifier in column B for each one of the voter registration numbers. $12.37 there. And then for, we are asked to look at absentee in advance. This is the absentee in advance report. Go back to the top here. And we will go through that as well. And you will see on this one, it does show a duplicate value on this voter registration number. The reason it shows a duplicate value is because, scrolling over, her absentee ballot was not delivered and it had to be canceled and it had to be reissued. So that is the reason why she appears on this spreadsheet twice. But she only had one ballot that was considered valid. One was canceled and had to be reissued. Continuing through the list. Oh, not too far. You'll see this number reflects the total number of ballots issued, not the total number of ballots accepted. So that's why it's 466, because it was actually 465, because we did not have all ballots returned.
Okay.
Okay?
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the report as listed.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to accept the second report as presented. Is there any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against nay. Motion carries.
And then number 4 says that after we compare the total number of ballots cast to the total number of unique identifiers, if any precinct in which the number of ballots exceeds the number of unique voters, the board shall determine the method of voting in which the discrepancy exists, and the board shall investigate the discrepancy, and no votes shall be counted from that precinct until the results of the investigation are determined by the board. Which, as we saw with that, we did not have any discrepancies in that. And number 5 states that if any errors are discovered, the board shall determine a method to compute the ballots. If fraud is determined, then the compute the votes justly, report the facts to the district attorney, and we did not have any of those either. And that ends the report regarding the SEB Rule 183-1-12-.12F.
Madam Chair, I move the board confirm that it is complied with SEB Rule 183-1-12-.12.
Second.
So motion and a second that the board has complied with SEB Rule 183-1-12-12 for the special election held on March the 10th. Is there any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against nay. That motion carries. And with that, that concludes our business for this particular portion, for this particular special call meeting.
Madam, I move that we adjourn this special call meeting.
There's a motion to adjourn. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second motion and a second to adjourn this meeting. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. That motion carries. Okay, perfect. All right, board members, if you could get your information together for the March 13th regular monthly meeting. Okay, you all good? Okay. All right. I'd like to call this regular monthly meeting of the Richmond County Board of Elections to order. The first order of business is the approval of the minutes of the regular monthly meeting on February 9th, 2026, the public hearing on February 16th, 2026, and the special call meeting held on February 16th, 2026.
Madam Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes of February the 9th and the public hearing meeting February 16th and special call meeting February 16th.
Second.
There is a motion and a second that those three sets of minutes be approved as disseminated. Is there any discussion on that? Not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. That motion carries. The next item on the agenda is an update of the May 19th, 2026 general primary and nonpartisan election. Director Doss?
All right. You should have a printout titled Update, May 19, 2026 General Primary and Nonpartisan Election. I wanted to take you through some of the dates that are involved in this upcoming election. March 20th is the deadline for precinct changes, which we have already made those necessary changes, and we have requested precinct cards to notify the voters. Letters have been sent to the three polling places that we will be leaving, letting them know that a sign will be placed at their polling location, a 4x4 sign, and just letting them know of that. March 31st is the first day that we can start mailing out UOCAVA ballots, which are the military and uniform overseas citizen ballots. April 6th is our deadline to publish sample ballots. As of this moment, we have not received any proofs, but we hope to be getting those shortly. We will start LNA for the May 19th election on April the 13th. The ad has already been placed for that in the legal organ as required by law. We will start poll worker training April the 15th through April the 20th. The voter registration deadline is April the 20th, and our first day to mail out regular civilian absentee ballots is also on April the 20th. We will start advanced voting on April the 27th at all four of the advanced voting locations. So that would be main building downtown, Henry Brigham Community Center, Warren Road Recreation Center, and the Robert Howard Community Center. The hours will be 8:30 to 6, Monday through Friday, 2 Saturdays, and the 1 Sunday, which we will address in just a minute. The first Saturday vote will be on May the 2nd. We will do Sunday voting on May the 3rd, which is the first Sunday rather than the second Sunday, because the second Sunday is Mother's Day. The board voted at the last meeting to make that change. May the 8th is the last day that a person can request an absentee ballot. May the 9th is Saturday voting. May the 11th, we have a board meeting scheduled. May 15th is the last day for advance voting. May 18th is actually the federal registration deadline if there is a runoff. May 19th is the general primary nonpartisan election date. At the last board meeting, the board voted to hold the pre-certification and the certification meeting on that Friday, May the 22nd. Memorial Day is May the 25th. We will hold a risk limiting audit on May the 28th, and if there is a runoff from this primary and nonpartisan election, that runoff will be on June the 16th. You also have a copy in your packet of all the qualified local candidates for the nonpartisan election, mayor, commissions 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10, state court judges, and chief civil and magistrate court judge.
Okay. Are there any questions from any of the board members regarding that calendar? Okay, we will then accept, maybe get a motion to accept that as information.
So moved.
Motion? Is there-
Second.
So motion and second to accept this update as information. Is there any discussion on that? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. That motion carries. Director Doss, quick question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
I noticed on the back of here, there is an update for the April 17th runoff
I was going to put that under new business.
under new business. Very good, thank you, sir. Okay, the next item on the agenda is a
I was just
discuss-
saving on paper.
Okay, very good. The next item on the agenda is discussion of voter outreach forum with Greater Augusta Interfaith Coalition. Director Doss.
Yes, it has been, I've been approached about doing a type of forum, a voter outreach forum prior to the May 19th primary and nonpartisan election. I was speaking with some representatives from the Greater Augusta Interfaith Coalition, and I would like, I guess, board approval to hold this forum. We're looking at the Saturday before the voter registration deadline, so it is April the 18th, and we were planning to do it at the Henry Brigham Community Center in the actual gym. I have spoken with an audiovisual company that could do, because unfortunately they do not have sound in the gym, so they were going to do sound and view screen to do a presentation, and I kind of wanted it to be kind of a combination forum, town hall, discussion. We'll have staff there, we'll have voter registration applications, we'll have absentee ballot applications, we'll have handouts about the May primary and nonpartisan election, and just to kind of have this for the public to come and get their questions answered prior to that election and primary, because there always seems to be some confusion about primaries, about having to pick a party and things like that. The cost for us would be about $2,000 for the audiovisual equipment. And the Greater Augusta Interfaith Coalition said that they would sponsor or have somebody sponsor like coffee and donuts and breakfast items for the general public. So I wanted to put that out there, that this is something that I think would be beneficial. I've been trying, I had put money in the budget to do kind of some type of outreach program, and because this special election kind of came up, I feel that this might, rather than having multiple meetings due to the timeline and trying to get it all done, that we would do this. We were going to have it recorded and posted on our website. It won't be live streamed, but it would be recorded and posted on our website. So if people were not able to attend, they could go to the recording and watch the information and see the questions in the public and whatnot.
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Question, yes.
What would be the hours of this? What
I was looking at like 9 to 11.
9 to 11,
Yes,
just a
ma'am.
couple hours in the
Yes,
morning?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Okay, if we can get a motion and get this out there for discussion, that might be a good place, direction to head.
Madam Chairman, I move that we open up for discussion the director's suggestions.
Okay, so motion and second to open this up for discussion. All those, is there any discussion about the motion for the discussion? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. Okay, that motion carries. So let's talk about it. Travis, give us a little background, if you would, on how this came to be.
Well, talking, it kind of came out of our public hearings and our meetings where the public seemed to be getting more involved in the Board of Elections, and there was a lot of discussion about people feeling like the Board of Elections was really not doing enough to give the public information. Of course, we have our website, of course, we have these meetings now that we are live streaming these meetings. And so in the discussion with the Greater Augusta Interfaith Coalition, they felt that they could then reach out to the public and maybe reach the public in ways that we aren't necessarily reaching them, to let them know about the meeting and to kind of give an opportunity for the public to come, hear the information, get their questions answered as we prepare for this election season, especially the May 19th primary and nonpartisan election.
Okay, and just one other follow-up question for me. Can you tell us more about the Interfaith Coalition itself as a group?
I can go on their website and read the. It's a group that I've worked with before. They are a group of pastors from Augusta. They have formed. This coalition group has been formed for quite some time. They have a board of directors, and I've met with many members of the group in the past. They do a lot of community outreach as far as helping with the public in a variety of things. And they really have wanted to do more to assist our office in getting information out to the public as it pertains to elections. So they've been great partners in the past. They do have they have observers that go out election day, visit the polling places, and report back any issues that they may see or any suggestions of any problems. So they've been a very good resource in the past for the Board of Elections.
Okay.
And, Madam Chair, I do know their ED, Reverend Chris Johnson, so I can vouch for him and the work that they do in the community around voter education and outreach.
Member Beverly?
So, just a couple of questions. In that, is there an agenda for a topic of discussion at that forum? What things would be discussed?
I'm open. Right now, what I was planning to discuss, I'm working on a presentation right now. Basically, what I'm currently working on is an informational type of presentation. One, to talk about the Board of Elections, talk about our meetings, and then to go into information such as when the voter registration deadline is, how to obtain an absentee ballot, how to return an absentee ballot, how to verify your polling location to make sure that you are aware of your polling location prior to Election Day, where we will have advanced voting, what the hours are of advanced voting, and it's not going to be a political forum. Candidates may be there, but I do not see giving candidates an opportunity to make any type of political speeches. I want to keep it nonpartisan, only from the Board of Elections standpoint. If politicians are there, they're more than welcome to come to gather that information, but I was not planning to give them an opportunity to campaign.
So, is it with the public being there? Is there an open mic for them?
Yes,
to ask
sir.
questions
Yes,
as
sir.
well? And is there a moderator to help moderate? Because sometimes those questions can come in a really interesting way that it becomes political, whether we answer or we don't. So it scares me a little bit with that.
Okay, that's something I have not considered, and I would encourage any members of the board to also attend, and maybe y'all could assist in the moderation of that.
And last question, the information that you put out, can it also be put out in Spanish as well, another language? Is that doable? Can we do that?
I don't know about that. We've never done any multi-language,
As far as the handouts are concerned.
if you know of someone who can do that, I'm not familiar with that. I know Gwinnett County, has, of course, they're under a mandate that everything that is published has to be published in multiple language, mainly, Spanish, and that's a big challenge, because what one person may convert the word vote in Spanish may mean one thing, but in context it may be something else, and so that is not something that I'm skilled at, and nor do I have any resource to do that. But if you know of someone, I'd be more than happy to look into that. It's just not something that I'm aware of.
Madam Chair, I
Yes.
have a question. I believe that you have to have like 5% of the voters to require that everything be published in multiple languages.
That's correct.
And since we don't have that, then the
No,
requirement.
it would not be a requirement.
It's not a
It's
requirement.
not a requirement to
Okay.
do that.
And I have another question, is we would have our monthly meeting before this, correct?
Yes, this is April the 18th, so yes, ma'am, you would have, I don't think I put it on the agenda. Well, that's another that's kind of going to come up in our runoff discussion that we need, but the monthly meeting is scheduled for April the 13th, yes, ma'am.
Because I was wondering about that, if we at that meeting could have a copy of your agenda for this open forum. If we could have a copy of the agenda, or before that, if we could have a
Absolutely.
copy of the agenda, and then maybe if there was something in there that we had a question about, or something that we might want to clarify, that we could do that.
Okay.
Because I think I would like to see the agenda before I say, yeah, go ahead and do this. I'm not really sure about it.
Okay, I think that the only issue I see with that
It's timeline.
is planning, right?
Timeline.
So I think if we're going to do it, today would be the day to authorize moving forward with it and the expenditure of the funds for the audiovisual stuff. And then, but you do bring up a good point. It would be good to see the curriculum, if you will, in advance, because there may be things that we would like to add to it. But without the authorization, I would not recommend even moving forward with it at all.
May I ask this question as well, and that, I know that Ms. Barnes said 5% is needed. Where does that 5% number come from?
It's actually a federal law.
Okay.
If your population, according to the last census, is 5% or more in any particular language group, then you have to then provide ballots in that language.
And where are we as far as that population at right now?
The last time I knew, this would have been for the 2020 census, we were at just around 3%. Is that,
That's my recollection as well, yes, ma'am, from the 2020 census, yes,
Right.
ma'am.
So as things stand right now, there are, at least, going back a few years, at least 3 or 4 years, there, I think, were only 2 counties in the state that were mandated to provide the
Okay.
bilingual ballots. And Cobb County is one of those.
Gwinnett.
Gwinnett.
Gwinnett and Hall, I believe.
Gwinnett.
Hall? Yep, okay.
Okay.
Then, Madam Chair, then I would move that we approve the $2,000 expenditure for the forum for April the 18th, and with the proviso that the director send out, once he generates the agenda, a copy of that to the board members.
Okay.
Second.
There's a motion and a second that we move forward with authorizing the expenditure for this outreach program, with the caveat that we would like the opportunity to review the curriculum before it's presented and to add to it as we see fit. Is there any discussion about that? Okay, hearing none, then, all those in favor of moving forward with this program, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against, nay.
Nay.
Okay, that motion carries. Okay. All right, moving along. The next item on the agenda is an update of the 2025-2026 legislative session. Director Doss.
All right, in your packet, well, when I put this on the agenda, I was only really tracking about 3 or 4, 5 election bills. But then the Georgia Association of Voter Registration and Election Officials put out an update, and as you will see, it's 3 pages. So I don't intend to go through all 3 pages for you, unless you so desire. But there, up at the top is the link to go to that link. The bill numbers are there on the side where it says SB 568, that's Senate Bill 568. I did want to call your attention to a couple of the bills, specifically that SB 568. That was a bill that is trying to address Senate Bill 189 that was passed in 2024 that ordered that the QR code from the ballot would need to be removed by July 1st of 2026. And the bill had a lot of stuff in it, and it did not pass in the Senate, and so therefore it did not make the crossover. That was crossover day last Friday, and it did not make the crossover into the House, so that bill failed. However, I'm sure portions of that bill will come up through other bills. The other bill to note, which is currently in the House, is SB 214. That we call the hand-marked paper ballot bill. That bill was introduced during the last session, and it did pass the Senate and has moved over to the House. And currently, Gabrielle is working with the authors of that bill to try and get us a working bill, because, of course, if nothing is done by July 1st of 2026, we do not know what we're going to do with our current voting system. Because as you know, with our current voting system, it is, it's a ballot marking device, but it prints a ballot that has a QR code on it that is then read by the scanner. So there are many possibilities between now and November. One of the things that the association is trying to do, we're trying to get that deadline pushed to 2028. So we have time to actually make the necessary changes to the voting system. That is one of the association's legislative priorities this season, or this session, to get that deadline moved from July 1st of 2026, moved to 2027, so we could then be ready to go at the beginning of 2028. Because as things stand right now, we will use the ballot marking devices for the May primary and the June runoff, but then we have to quickly pivot before the November election to a whole new type of voting, which would include training poll workers and training voters on a new voting system during a compressed and short period of time. So other bills, there are many other bills out there that have the potential of having language added to them about the system, and as I said, I've listed, the association did this wonderful task of listing all of the bills and where they are and what they might, what might happen to them for you to review. And so I just wanted y'all to have that so you would be aware of the bills that are currently floating either in the House or the Senate that could come to pass in this session, that could have an effective date, by by the end of the year, by July 1st, or whenever it is signed by the governor.
Travis, I have just one quick question, please. You've identified 2 bills that are of particular concern of the association. Are there any other bills that you feel worthy of tracking that we should hone in on?
No, ma'am. I mean, House Bill 728 was one that the association was working with that extended the deadline for when the state election board could set rules. Currently, there is no deadline other than like 30 days or whenever they come to pass, they go into effect. We had asked for any rulemaking process from the state election board to have a 90-day moratorium. The bill has a 75-day moratorium, which is okay. We'll take it. It's better than 60. Also, House Bill 1467 would change when a person registers to vote. Excuse me. It would change when a person gets their driver's license. It would change it from an opt-out to an opt-in. Currently, when a person goes to the DMV to get their driver's license, they automatically are registered to vote unless they specifically state that they do not want to be registered to vote. This bill proposes to change that the person has to actually say that they want to be registered to vote. So that would, we used to have that prior to 2016, I believe. It was very confusing because people would say, well, I said I wanted to vote, and I wanted to register to vote, but you didn't get my application. So it would be going backwards on that. So that is not necessarily one that we are in favor of. There was another one that dealt, there we go, on the first page, House Bill 214, that dealt with ERIC. It was a bill that is suggesting that the state of Georgia get out of ERIC and other multi-state voter registration list maintenance. So that one is a possibility that would change the way we get information from other states and we share information from other states as far as list maintenance.
And Travis, you said that was House Bill 215?
215, yes ma'am, it's on the first page.
Okay. All right, are there any questions or anything anyone on the board would like to ask of Director Doss regarding this legislative update?
Madam Chair, I move that we receive the legislative update as information.
Is there a
Second, yes, I'm sorry.
That's okay. There's a motion and a second to accept this legislative update as information. Is there any discussion on that? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Against nay. That motion carries. Okay, very good. Thank you, Travis, for that update. The next item on the agenda is an update regarding the Gabrielle Conference, March the 22nd through the 25th. Director Doss.
Yes, so just wanted to remind the board, this is the statewide training conference. Gabrielle, of course, the Georgia Association of Voter Registration and Election Officials. That conference will be March the 22nd to the 25th. During that time period, myself, Shirley, Katina, and Esther will be out of the office during those 3 days. And member Beverly and member Reese will be attending via virtual. So I wanted to let them know to be on the lookout for emails about how to log on, and when they come, I will remind you, but those should be coming out about a week before the conference. So I just kind of wanted to remind y'all about that. And the materials will probably, even if you're unable to attend, the materials, you still will have access to the materials through the Gabrielle website. They will be there for you if you would like to see that. The conference will be in Athens this year for the 3 days. It's actually 2.5 days this year, and looking to have a lot of good information. I'm actually teaching a class on, it's called Election 101. It is the basic training class. As past president, that is our punishment, that we have to teach the 101 training class. So I get to teach that one on Sunday this year.
Okay, very good. And just as a reminder, for anyone who may be attending in person, that training session that Travis is talking about, that Elections 101, is a great opportunity to, maybe re-listen to things that you thought you knew, but maybe didn't quite know as well as you thought you did, and that kind of stuff. There's always some interesting things that come up, even to some of us that have been around for quite a while. Okay, any questions of any board members? Okay, if not, we will move on to the next item, which is old business. Is there any old business to come before the board?
I just had one thing, which I think I already mentioned, but I just wanted to let the board know that regarding the polling place precinct changes, the precinct cards have been ordered, waiting to receive those so we can mail them out. We do have to mail them out to the voters at least 30 days prior to the election. The polling place changes are in the process. I just picked up the notice signs today that the law requires at least 7 days prior to the election that we must post at least 3 signs in the precinct, and so we have those signs ready to go to get those posted in the neighborhoods and in places to let people know of those 3 polling place changes.
Okay, thank you, Director Ross. Remind us, please, how many voters are impacted by those changes? I'm asking the hard questions.
You are. I'm glad we
Okay.
prepared. I do not have those numbers in front of me.
Okay,
I apologize.
no problem at all. Okay, are there any questions from any of the board members regarding that particular issue? Is there any other old business to come before the board? If not, we will move to new business. Is there any new business to come before the board?
Even though we have not certified, we know that there will be a runoff because no candidate received 50% of the vote. So if you will turn your over from the May 19th over to the back page, and so and I have a complete typo there. That is supposed to be April the 7th, not the 17th. I apologize. So the runoff will be on April the 7th. The voter registration deadline is the same voter registration deadline that we had for the special election. So that has already passed. We do not reopen registration because there are no federal candidates on the ballot. So that is the 9th of February. Of course, as I said, we will be out of the office the 22nd through the 25th. We will start our LNA testing on that Wednesday, March the 25th. The last day that a person can request an absentee ballot is that Friday, the 27th. On March the 30th, we will open advanced voting. We may need, there was a question earlier about whether or not we would have both locations open. I was assuming that we would continue on the same path that we had before, that the municipal building and the Henry Brigham Center would be open. However, I may need a motion into that regard.
I move that in advance of the April 7, 2026 special election, that we have advanced voting at the 2 locations it was set up for the election itself, in order to not confuse voters about where they can go to vote.
A second.
Voter access, second.
There's a motion and a second to continue along the same path with the April 17th runoff as we did with the initial special election on March the 10th, and have 2 advanced voting locations open. Is there any discussion about that? Okay, all those board members in favor of that, say aye.
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 Against nay. That motion carries.
So we will have the 2 locations open. They will be open from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. However, they will only be open for 4 days, Monday through Thursday, because Friday is a holiday, and the law states that if there is a state holiday, that the advanced voting locations will not be open. So that is the April 3rd is Good Friday, so they will not be open that day, so they'll be open for 4 days. The runoff date is April the 7th, and according to the calendar, we do the pre-certification meeting on that Friday, the 10th. Of course, as we all know, that week is Masters Week, so I don't know about board members being available on the 10th. So I continued, I put the certification meeting on that Monday, the 13th, in conjunction with the regular monthly board meeting. And as you see, I have stars there because the regular monthly board meeting is set for 11 o'clock. We, of course, can roll right over into the certification meeting. Certification, we normally do it too, but the only thing that we have to do as required by law is we have to certify by 5 p.m. There's no requirement of what time we have to meet. It just has to be done by 5 p.m.
Madam Chair, I can say that I will be in town on April the 10th. So if we're sort of counting a quorum, I think it'd be useful if the board would, if individual board members let us know they're going to be in town.
Okay.
I'm gonna be in town, yeah.
You'll be in town?
I'll be here.
I will be here.
You'll be here.
So we'll all.
I'm questionable, but that's 4 out of 5.
All right.
So,
Madam Chair, if that's the case, I would move that we would, I move that we move the regular monthly board meeting and the certification meeting to follow the pre-certification meeting at 3 p.m. on the 10th and have all 3 of them on April 10th.
okay, there's a motion to.
Might be dying for lack of a second.
Well, I'm thinking, if I have a ticket, I can run out here for this, but if I get a chance to go back to the tournament, I don't want to be stuck out here. No, the monthly meeting, that's, shouldn't have a problem with that. Whatever.
You don't want to do 13?
Well, it sounds like my motion dies for lack of a second, Madam Chair.
I did not hear a second.
Yeah.
You were correct about that.
And to clarify, the pre-certification meeting on April the 10th, if we don't have a quorum, we don't have a quorum for the 10th.
But we have to have it before.
We have to have the pre-certification meeting by 3 p.m. on that Friday.
Okay.
However, if we don't have a quorum, we don't have a quorum. We schedule the meeting, but if we don't have a quorum, then we don't have that meeting.
Well, we've.
I was wondering if we scheduled it earlier, if that would help.
On the 10th?
On the 10th.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, if-
Yes.
No, the only way that would be an issue, well, actually, we're not going to be certifying, so even if we do have outstanding provisional ballots, they will not be an issue.
That is
Because
correct.
we're not
Yes, ma'am.
certifying
There's
until
no,
the
that is
following
correct. Yes,
Monday.
ma'am.
Okay.
So if we leave the regular board meeting and the certification on Monday and have the pre-certification, if we could have it earlier on Friday, then I'm sure that I could manage that.
And that would give me a better chance of being here,
Okay.
you know, for sure. So what would be the pleasure of the board then, if
So
you would?
what is the actual motion?
Okay, you know, I
There
guess
wasn't a
we have
motion.
no
Well,
motion.
we've got
We're
to
just
make a new one.
We're discussing. So why don't we first have a motion that we will hold the pre-certification on April the 10th as scheduled and required by law, and that we will hold April 13th for the time for certification and regular monthly meeting as is currently scheduled. Can we
So
get?
moved.
Okay, all right, so we have that motion. Is there a second?
That's fine. Second.
Second. Okay, so a motion and a second to adhere to the calendar.
Some discussion on that, Madam Chair.
Yes,
I didn't hear a time for the
Well, we
pre-certification.
haven't come up with that.
thank you.
Oh.
But this is a good time to discuss it, so
Yeah,
let's
that's-
discuss it.
Right.
now.
Currently, the motion is to keep the calendar, that we have the pre-certification meeting on April the 10th, and that we keep the regular monthly board meeting at 11 a.m. on April the 13th, followed by the certification meeting immediately after the regular monthly board meeting. That was the motion.
I'm happy to vote for that. I think we need another motion to set a time for the pre-certification meeting.
A separate and apart motion? Okay, okay. So we will, at this time, accept the dates as listed and the times for the regular monthly meeting and the certification meeting.
Madam Chair, friendly amendment that the
Yes.
certification meeting be set to immediately follow the regular monthly board meeting instead of be set at 2 PM.
Yes.
The certification meeting,
Yes.
yes.
Second that.
We
Yes.
started
Specify
at- We'll
11:05
start at
for-
11:05, yep.
But it's so amended.
Okay, there is a motion on the table to adhere to the calendar, the dates that are listed and the times that are listed, changing the certification meeting to begin at 11:05 immediately following the regular monthly board meeting. There is a motion
Second.
and there is a second. Is there any further discussion on that? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Against nay. That motion carries. Now, let's circle back.
You're on camera.
I know.
At this point, we will, the chair will entertain a motion to set a time for the pre-certification meeting.
Madam Chair, I move the pre-certification meeting on April 10th be at noon.
I
Should
think
we-
we need some more discussion
More
on
dis-
that, rather than, I would like it earlier in the day. I think that would make it easier if it were like at 10
In the
o'clock.
Morning?
9 or 10 in the morning would be my preference.
Okay,
I don't know, you said
okay.
that might help
Would you be willing to amend your motion?
Sure, well, it doesn't matter. It sounds like it's dying for lack of a second.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's regroup once more, and let's talk about this meeting time. And this time, let's get a full picture of what we're talking about. We're talking about the date and type of meeting and the time suggestion for that particular meeting. Go.
Well, it would be the pre-certification on April the 10th. And I would suggest we have it early in the morning.
Just move the time, just make a motion all the time.
I would move 10.
10 is good. Okay, there's a motion on the floor to hold the pre-certification meeting on April 10th as required by law, and to have that meeting begin at 10 a.m. Is there a second to that motion?
Second and third.
There's a second to that motion. Is there any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, nay. That motion carries.
10 o'clock.
So the pre-certification will be at 10 a.m. on Friday, April the 10th. The regular monthly board meeting will be at 11 a.m. on April the 13th. And the certification meeting will be at 11:05 a.m. on April the 13th. And we can have the pre-certification meeting can be here, it can be downtown, it really could be, the location does not matter, since we are not certifying, but the regular monthly board meeting and the certification meeting will be at, here out at the warehouse. I don't think that we can put a place to be determined at a later date if that is so desired. I don't believe a motion is necessary for a location. It just needs to be advertised at least a week before.
But we do know at this point that the two meetings on the 13th will be out here. They have to be
That is
out
correct.
here for certifying.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay, very good.
Well, maybe.
Okay, very good. Okay, the next item on the agenda is a legal session. It's my understanding that we are going to dip out just 5 minutes for a legal meeting, and then we will come back and do our certification meeting. So if y'all will indulge us for just 5 quick minutes, and we'll be right back, but we need some motions to.
Move that we go into a legal
There's a
session.
second. There's a motion and a second to excuse ourselves into executive session. Is there any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, very good.
Madam Chair, I move that we come out of executive session and execute the closed meeting affidavit.
Second.
It's a motion and a second to come out of executive session and to execute the closed meeting affidavit. Is there any discussion on that? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. That motion carries. There being no further business to come before the board for this regular monthly meeting, we'll
Move that we adjourn.
Thank
Madam
you.
Chair, I move that, I request that the motion be adjourned be held in abeyance until we complete the execution of the affidavit.
Oh, pardon.
Thank you.
There you go.
I second the motion to adjourn.
Need a second on that motion to adjourn?
I second the motion to adjourn.
You seconded it? Did you not
Yes.
make it?
I didn't make it. Sure did.
Sherry made? Okay, so the motion to adjourn the meeting has been seconded. Is there, all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Against, nay. Motion carries, meeting adjourned. Okay, moving on to stage 3 of our program. We are going to move to the certification meeting for the March 10th special election. Okay, I'm going to call that meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is a consideration of any provisional or challenge ballots cast during the March 10th, 2026 special election.
We did not have any provisional or challenge ballots for the March 10th special election.
Okay, that makes that easy then.
Oh, wait.
Alrighty, very good. So we'll move on to the third item on the agenda, which is a recap of the March 10th of 2026 special election. Director Doss.
All right, in your packet, you should have a recap sheet for the March 10th election. There was a total of 38,385 eligible registered voters. The unofficial, as of election night, we had 1,699 people vote for a 4.43% turnout. We had 12 polling locations open. We used 74 poll workers at a cost of about $15,600. We had 2 advanced voting sites open and we used 11 poll workers. We were very reserved in the number of poll workers we were using, so to keep the estimates down, which cost us $23,000 for those 3 weeks. We deployed 57 voting machines election day, 18 for advanced voting, and my estimate for this election was about $60,000. I'm actually, I meant to say that, the new business. I'm actually going before the commission. I put on an agenda item to ask for funds for the special election and for the runoff. And it looks like this election is going to come in at about 59,000, so I was pretty close to my estimate. And then the runoff will be somewhere in 30-something thousand. And the reason why, of course, it's lower is because of the advanced voting only being 4 days. Talking about the ballots, in person, we had 433 people vote advance. We had 1,237 voters vote election day for a total of 1,670 in person. We issued 33 absentee ballots. We received back 29. We actually today got one that's after the deadline that came in about 3 o'clock today. We did not have any mismatched applications or ballots. We did not have to cure any ballots. We did not have to reject any ballots for missing information. And as previously stated, we did not have any provisional ballots. A couple of issues that we had with this election was we did have a power outage at Cross Creek at about, let's see, school, probably about sometime between 1 and 2 o'clock. But luckily, power was restored within about 30 minutes. As you know, we do have backup batteries on all of the equipment the ballot marking devices have a backup ballot, and the printers have universal power sources, so voting did not affect voting in any way. Voting never ceased, so that issue did not affect us. However, there was a potential, if the power stayed out longer, it would have affected us, so we were mobilizing. We were getting, because this was not a countywide election, we had plenty of backup batteries in our warehouse, and so we were ready to deploy those out to that location, but luckily we did not need to do that. Other issues, of course, in this election was the construction and the road closure in the downtown area, especially during advanced voting, which was one of the reasons why we opened up that second advanced voting location. The third issue, as it is with any election that is not countywide, the public showed up at many polling locations that were not open, and so there was a lot of, sadly, confusion about that. With our messaging, we always talk about, the adage is know before you go. We always encourage voters to either look themselves up on the My Voter page to see where they vote, what districts they're in. We also encourage them, if they do not have access to the internet, to also call our office. However, that messaging doesn't always reach everyone. So we, of course, there was some confusion about it not being countywide, but that's not something that we can change since it was only 1/5 of the district. And that was really, other than that, that was really the only main issues that we had election day. Did y'all have any phone calls, issues, or anything that came up election day?
I did.
Are there any questions of any board member of Mr. Boss? Okay, then I will accept a motion to accept that recap for informational purposes.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we accept our recap from the special election held March 10th.
Second.
It's a motion and a second to accept that as information. Is there any discussion about that? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. That motion carries. The next item on the agenda is certification of the results of the March 10th, a little typo there, March 10th special
Oh,
election.
shoot, thank you.
So Travis, you want
All
to
right.
do the certification?
Yes, so you have before you the unofficial results from election night. Of course, we did not add any provisionals or absentees, so the unofficial looks the same as the official. You should have a copy of the official there before you. And if you would like, then I can commence in reading the votes into the record. So for election day, we had 1,237 ballots cast. Advanced voting had 433 ballots cast. Absentee by mail, 29. 0 provisionals for 1,699 ballots cast. Total number of registered voters was 38,385 that you will see in that times cast area. Registered voters up in the top was the total county-wide, but as you know, this was not a county-wide election. The candidates for Shaquinta Q. Calls, she received 236 votes, or 13.94%. David Carson, 136 votes, for a total of 8.03%. Karen Gordon, 333 votes, for a total of 19.67%. Thomas McAdams, 340 votes, or 20.08%. Sheila Clark Nelson, 567 votes, or 33.49%. LaFawn S. Pickney Mealing, 81 votes, for a total of 4.78%. And that brings our total to 1,693. There were 2 write-in votes, I believe, and I guess for the other one would undervotes, which would show why the total number of votes versus ballots cast would be different. Because 50% of the vote is required, there will be a runoff between Sheila Clark Nelson and Thomas D. McAdams.
Okay, board members, are there any questions for Mr. Doss about the certification information?
No, Your Honor. Madam Chair, I move that we certify the results as read into the record by Executive Doss.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to certify the results as distributed and read aloud. Is there any discussion about that? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Against, nay. That motion carries.
All right, I will pass down the official certification document. So if board members will sign where it says assist, and the chair will sign as superintendent of election.
Oh. Thank you.
Oh, 4, okay. Yeah. 2 were write-in, just two people didn't vote.
You want me to go under you?
Yeah.
Okay, go right this way.
Thank you. Just pass that one down. Okay, well that
Thank you.
concludes our business for today. So I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It's a motion to adjourn.
Second.
And a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. Motion carries. All right, very good. Good work.
All right, thank you.